Before there were nations, before empire and kings, there was only survival. Humanity wandered endlessly, chasing animals across open plains, drinking from rivers, and sheltering under trees. The world was vast, wild, and merciless. But somewhere, sometime around 5,000 years ago, in a narrow stretch of fertile land, humans stopped running. They settled, they built, they dreamed, and in that dream, the first great experiment of civilization began. This was Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers. Two rivers shaped destiny, the Tigris and the Euphrates. Their water carried both life and death. They flooded unpredictably, destroying homes, but they also left behind fertile soil, black earth that could grow enough grain to feed thousands. Here, humanity made its gamble to tame nature itself. They dug canals, craved irrigation ditches, and built fields where wilderness once stood. For the first time, people were not just surviving, they were controlling the forces of nature. It was this land, harsh, unstable, but rich, that gave birth to the first cities. Uruk, Ur, Lagash, Nippur, names that echo through time. These were not villages of straw huts, but vast mud brick cities. Walls rose high to keep enemies out. Markets burst with merchants trading grain, wool, and copper. Temples crowned the centers like mountains made by human hands. Uruk itself grew to nearly 50,000 souls, making it the world's first true city. From scattered tribes, humanity had created something new, urban life. But how do you govern a city of thousands? How do you remember debts, laws, prayers? Memory alone was not enough. So, the Sumerians carved symbols into wet clay with sharpened reeds. Cuneiform, the world's first writing system. At first, it was only numbers and tallies for trade and taxes. But soon, these signs became words, ideas, stories. Humanity discovered immortality of thought. What was once spoken and forgotten could now be etched and remembered forever. The spoken voice had become stone. In Mesopotamia, power was divided between gods and men. The gods owned the land. The temples were their houses. Priests interpreted divine will, offering prayers, sacrifices, and rituals to keep the rivers flowing and the crops alive. But as cities grew, so did the need for strong leaders. Kings emerged, first as war chiefs, later as rulers chosen by the gods themselves. They raised armies, built palaces, and commanded loyalty. Yet no king was absolute. Every ruler was always in debt to the gods above and to the priest who spoke for them. What was it like to live in Mesopotamia? For most, life was hard but organized. Farmers tilled fields, growing barley and wheat. Shepherds tended flocks of sheep and goats. Craftsmen made pottery, jewelry, and weapons. Children played with clay toys, while scribes learned the art of writing. Women brewed beer, one of the staple drinks of Mesopotamian society. The taverns were places of rest, of laughter, of community. And above all, life was ruled by the rhythm of the rivers and the will of the gods. But Mesopotamia did not only give us tools and cities, it gave us stories. From Uruk came the world's first great epic, the Epic of Gilgamesh. It told of a mighty king who sought immortality, who battled monsters, befriended a wild man named Enkidu, and journeyed to the edge of the world. It was more than legend. It was humanity's first attempt to understand death, friendship, and the meaning of life. Through Gilgamesh, Mesopotamia spoke across 4,000 years to us. As civilization grew, So did conflict. Who owned what? What happened when debts weren't paid? How should murder or theft be punished? Around 1750 BCE, King Hammurabi of Babylon answered. He carved the first great code of law onto stone, the Code of Hammurabi. Its rules were harsh, its punishments brutal, but its meaning was profound. Justice was no longer left to vengeance or chaos. It was written, fixed, known. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Law itself was born here, between the rivers. Mesopotamia's genius reshaped the world. They gave us the wheel, turning transport and trade into revolutions. They built the first plows, feeding more people than ever before. They mapped the stars, dividing the sky into constellations and creating the earliest calendars. Every time we tell time, every time we use numbers, every time we write down an idea, we are echoing Mesopotamia.